Hey there, I'm Colin Weston with the Mod Golf YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. So today, my guest is a multi-time founder, someone like myself, didn't start off involved in the golf industry, but now has really made an impression, not only with himself, but also the team of friends and founders that he's put around that. And that is with Jared Solomon, co-founder of Five Iron Golf. We're going to have that conversation today on the Mod Golf YouTube channel. All right. So as I mentioned, my guest today is Jared Solomon, co-founder of Five Iron Golf, and gonna bring him on here. So we get a little split screen. There he is from his office in Manhattan, in New York City. Jared, how's it going today?
Everything is good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. So before we started recording this, we had a brief conversation of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, and people that are watching this on our Mod Golf YouTube channel will not know this, but this is about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we had an awesome conversation on our long form audio podcast, recorded that, which we're going to release in the next couple of days here. And then we jumped on a Zoom call. We had another amazing, engaging conversation. And my IT support, aka me, kind of dropped the ball and I lost that recording. So I had to come back to you and say, yeah, Jared, funny thing, didn't quite record that. Are you willing to jump back on here? And thank you for saying yes, because I'm going to enjoy this conversation. And we were talking about success and goal setting and what a failure really is, and trying certain things, getting your reps in. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, starting off as in your through the lens that you see entrepreneurship through, as far as getting your reps in and just experimenting and trying things rather than waiting for things to be perfect, of course, which there never is.
Well, think about how lucky your viewers are that we already practiced this podcast and they get our V2, which is assuredly better than V1, right? So I I do believe in reps. That what we were talking, kind of joking about before. But I listened to the Bill Simmons podcast one day, I don't know, 10 years ago. It feels like, and he was talking about getting people on TV podcasts early. That everything takes reps. I think sometimes we assume that even a conversation like this is like natural and easy for both of us. Not that either of us is world talented here, but the truth is all of the podcasts and conferences and talking about five iron and golf and anything really does matter towards becoming better at it. Like I don't know if you feel this way, Colin, but this stuff takes reps and practice as well, just like anything else.
I 100% agree on that. Same with my golf game and my golf swing, which haven't been putting enough reps in lately, which is probably why my handicap's gone from a 13 back up to a 15. So I'm going the wrong way. So it's just like anything. And even the podcast, you and I touched on this in an earlier conversation. Not that I want to make this about the Mod Golf podcast, I want to make this about you, of course. But I've even seen more success with the podcast, just as far as the number of downloads. Last month, after 7 years, we set a new goal, or actually a new milestone, for the most downloads per month. And this month already, we've almost reached that. We're going to more than double that because I'm focusing my energy on it rather than scattering out doing way too many things where I needed to really focus and hone in on what I'm doing. And I'm seeing the results with that. And I'm sure you've seen the results with that with Five Iron. So I'm going to bring it all the way back to you now, just as far as seeing the results, getting your reps in. So why don't you tell our viewers here, maybe give a quick overview of what Five Iron Golf is, and talk about your first rep that you got in years ago when you built your first venue there.
Yeah, well, first, I hope I don't plummet your podcast numbers this month when our podcast gets released. But no, the so five iron, I guess, to give a quick background, five iron, the fives for Fifth Avenue, irons for the Flatiron District. Our first locations on 19th and 5th in Manhattan. It's an indoor golf facility, although we're trending indoor outdoor now in different variations or iterations of the concept. But the whole goal is to be the best place for the serious golfer as well as the entertainment type consumer. So we're open at 5, 6 a.m. for people to practice. We have TrackMan, camera systems, awesome golf clubs, and awesome staff, locker room and country club type amenities for people. So you're really, if you're looking for an oasis in a city or suburb as we're moving towards as well, that's kind of what Five Iron is. And then at night, or even during the day, full bar, full kitchens, entertainment. We're kind of known as the indoor Top Golf a little bit in terms of what we do. So really ranging from the lights on and a quiet place to the lights off and a DJ and music and a really fun environment. That's kind of what Five Iron's about. 25 plus locations across the world at this point, which we're really proud of, and hopefully many more to come.
Amazing, amazing. I don't know if I asked you on the podcast. I've been thinking about this question, so maybe it's a good thing we're doing this a second time because I can ask this one now. As far as your revenue model, I'm looking at your website in our previous conversation. Do you have a membership model and also a drop-in model? Are you kind of a hybrid? Is that the best way to say it? And if so, is that something you did since day one, or is that, as we know with entrepreneurship, you create a product or experience, your pricing, you're kind of guessing or using the best you can based on data already or your competitors and what you're doing. So tell us about that as far as your business model, revenue model, and has that changed over the years where you've seen maybe this is more popular or kind of rebalancing it out? So yeah, tell us about that journey as far as your revenue and your pricing.
Sure. At the end of the day, you're giving customers what they want. And one of the first customers, a man by the name of Alex, said, if I could come in at 6 a.m., I would pay you a monthly fee. And that's really how our membership started. And then we said, yes, obviously, because that's what you do when you're early and you just do it. So we would wake up and open the place for one single person, but eventually brought his friends and the membership got built out. Even back then, though, we thought, let's just make this as like a too good to be true type offer when we open the business to have this membership. It almost works like Amazon Prime, but offers a lot more community and other things as well. And we never intended to be a long term plan, but the members are some of our best brand ambassadors. When a sim breaks, they're there to help fix it. They're so nice to our staff. They bring us events. They bring their friends. They take golf lessons. So it's something that we've kept and is a really big piece of our business, having the membership. That being said, what we're probably more known for is being open to the public, renting the bays by the hour, coming, hanging out, and being flexible with that. But we also have leagues, corporate events, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, clinics, and everything under the sun in terms of what we do.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I know in business and in life, there's the 80-20 rule, and one of them is like 80% of your revenue is from 20% of your customers. Well, it's usually more of a B2B type of a scenario. But so you find that your really loyal customers, that lifetime value of some of those customers. I'm sure it's not an 80-20, but do you find that kind of a minority of your loyal customers make up the majority or a bigger chunk of your revenue?
Yeah, probably almost too much of our revenue, some might say, in terms
Mm.
of trying to get the one-off person who's just looking for a night out in the city, which is a customer that we're trying to attract. But certainly, most of our revenue comes from a similar group of people, which makes me proud. Like in some ways, that our average customer returns 15, 16 times a year versus other entertainment certainly concepts where it might be one time a year is something that I'm proud of in many ways. And the way it works is someone comes in, they're a member, they're excited, so they want to bring their friends on the weekend. They want to take lessons and get better. They want to get fit, at club fitting in a location, right? So there's so many different ways that they can use it. And someone was telling me this. I don't know if this is becoming a popular term these days, but almost like your third home. You have your work, you have your home, and then this is your third home. So we really are that to a lot of people, and that is something that makes me proud that they can feel comfortable and safe and in a Five Iron.
I like that. I like that. So I love your venues, myself having a design background and the artwork that you have and how that's just ingrained in not only your culture, but also your brand. So you do have other competitors out there, not just in the golf entertainment space, indoor and outdoor, but also whether it's bowling and there's other options of this growing. I know that in basketball and soccer, there's other kind of top golf of X whatever sport you want to put in there. What differentiates you that makes you guys special that people will know if they saw pictures of 5 different places, they know immediately it was a 5 iron?
I think that at least the build quality, I would say, is Nora, who is our chief development officer, and Natalie and her team. They just do such an unbelievable job with the artwork. It's probably a stretch to say that it looks like a modern art museum, but we really try and we really trend towards that. It should be wow, this is awesome type thing when you go in. and nothing to do with the simulators being awesome. That being said, if you are a golfer, you're going to go in and say, this is the cleanest, best maintained, the simulators are the best, the technology is the best that's around. So we're really trying to appeal to that entertainment type person with how just awesome the builds are, and then the golf person with the high level of quality and service of the golf side of the operations.
Love this. Love this. So you've talked about you've got 25 plus stores, venues now in the US. I believe you've got one. I don't know. Can you talk about it? Can you tell us much about what's going on in Dubai? It sounds like you're doing something that's like next level there. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, Dubai is something that's really exciting. We are working with a partner who came to us and said, hey, we think this would crush it in Dubai. It's opening hopefully late summer, early fall, but it will be the night. I don't want to say indoor golf. It will be one of the nicest golf venues on the planet. 17 simulators, roof deck, lit miniature golf, VIP area for members, gym, sauna, steam rooms. It really should be. I think there might be a hookah bar in there as well. It really should be an incredible venue. And what I really, really like about it is that they've leaned into everything that Five Iron is, and that makes me proud. The golf side of things will even be better than anything you've ever seen on the golf side of things, with the club fitting and the gym and the fitness and the game improvement side of things. And on the entertainment side, 3 rooftop terraces, the miniature golf, the multiple bars. So on the entertainment side as well, it's just leveling up what we're doing. And that is what convinced me to use them and pick with them and work with them as a partner, and what I'm really, really, really excited to see later this year.
Wow. Wow. So it sounds like there's some outdoor elements there. You did mention this in an earlier comment there that kind of piqued my interest. It's the first time I've heard it because you're now traditionally an indoor venue, but you did talk about outdoor activations. Can you expand on that? Because I'm intrigued by you teasing that one out there.
I think that we always just want to be looking forward, and we always want to be special and forward looking. And there have been a lot of copycats to Five Iron, right? Which is what it is. I believe we talked about this in the podcast, but when we opened the 4 simulator venue in New York, that was revolutionary at the time. It wasn't a safe bet. It wasn't conservative. It wasn't copying anyone else. Like 4 simulators was actually kind of crazy with food and beverage. Nobody did that in all of Manhattan. Had the F&B and the simulators attached to it. That was a one of one type experience that we were doing, and we've tried to continue to improve the product with every single build. And like, I think improving on the indoor side, seeing what's out there for outdoors, but in general, we're always trying to take Five Iron to the next level and be ahead of the game in terms of what it means as a concept.
Love this. Love this. Okay, to finish up here, because I don't want to take up too much of your time here, and I do want to encourage our viewers here to also become listeners of the long form podcast. So we took a deep dive into entrepreneurship, into Five Iron, and all the other good things that you've been involved with in your journey. So yeah, down in the show notes that we include that. And hey, I also encourage, if you would, I encourage you to actually subscribe to the YouTube channel here because we want to get to 1,000. That will unlock other things for us, which means we can do more and even build an even bigger community here. So I know everybody asked to subscribe, but if you would consider it, really appreciate that. So to end here, Jared, I wanted to ask you, as far as what you've learned in entrepreneurship. I know this is a big, hairy question that could take a whole podcast to answer here. But for people that are watching that are considering entrepreneurship, maybe they've got an idea and over 90% of the people never act on an idea. What would be your encouragement when you started off, not being in the golf industry at all and it had the aha moment, but then you acted on it with not only yourself, but also your 3 partners? What would you say to people that are looking at an idea, but they don't want to take that deep plunge in or that risk right now? What would you say as far as those first steps if they've got an idea or a product and they think there's something there?
I think that people conflate important decisions with the idea that they need to think about them forever. And I really think about this a lot. where you go to college is really important to your life, or who you marry is really important to life. It does not mean that thinking about where you go to college and talking to 1,000 people about it and reading the website and going to the tour of the school is actually going to lead you to that much more information that's going to impact your decision in a positive way. Like, probably the reason for the people who have gone to college on this podcast that you like the college has nothing to do with the original reasons you wanted to go there in the first place. So super important where you went to college. Is it worth thinking and sweating over the 5 different choices that you have? Like, in my opinion, probably not. I was a poker player before this, and similar concept. People would spend so much time thinking on the 50 to 50 decisions of call and fold, and the truth is you're better off spending your time on the thinking and sweating over the things that by doing so will actually lead to a better decision. And yes, whether you fold or call could be $1 million decision in poker or in business, whether you open a location or don't. But at a certain point, you've gathered the appropriate amount of information and you just need to make a decision. And I think that's really what separates entrepreneurs from the people that just never get started. Thinking that there's going to be this moment where they find all of this information, have this obvious decision of whether they should do it or not. It just simply doesn't exist.
What you just said there, well, first was amazing, and thank you for that. And it encapsulates this phrase I heard about a year or so ago, and that is this, and another entrepreneur, I forget who it was, but saying that they're always, rather than demanding certainty, they are looking for clarity. So every conversation they have, everything they do, and as you mentioned there, it's the act of doing and just starting, whether it's minimum viable product, whatever you want to call it, experimenting, prototyping, just putting it out there, having conversations to see if people actually want the thing that you're going to be creating. So I love that one, and you really embrace that. Doesn't sound like you're demanding certainty. You're looking for clarity with every conversation you have and everything that you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's, by the way, the doing actually leads you to more clarity in the future for the next decision, right? If you make a wrong decision on where a location should be, which you're going to do, but the things that you're going to learn from that, or on a good location, you're going to learn from that too. If you never made the decision in the first place, you're never going to know what a good location. Like, no amount of thinking is going to tell you what concept is going to be a good location. You actually have to do some locations and figure out what the customers want. Same could be true of any industry, app, product, etc.
Wow. Wow. Well, I am really tempted to actually keep going and spend another hour with you, but we want to keep this a little bit shorter because, of course, as I said, we want to encourage our viewers to listen to our really engaging conversation we had on the podcast, and also want to be respectful of your time because I know you got to get back and run a global business. So before we finish up here, Jared, why don't you let our audience know, our viewers know, where they can learn more about Five Iron and find one near them and give it a shot if they haven't been before.
First of all, if you subscribe to the YouTube, just email me. I'll give you a free lesson, beer, simulator hour, you name it. My email is jared@fiveirongolf.com. So JARED at fiveirongolf.com, all spelled out. And we're at Five Iron Golf everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We're at Five Iron Golf. Go give us a follow. We appreciate it. DM me on there too if you need anything or want anything. And I'm happy to help. And certainly if you've had a good experience, let me know. If you've had a bad experience, let me know as well. And I'd love to hear about it.
Amazing. How do we leave it at that? Hey, Jared Solomon, co-founder of Five Iron Golf. I hope we have a chance to meet in person very soon because we've got some other things we've been looking to discuss too. But if nothing else, I would love to show up at one of your venues. And if it turns out in New York City, if you're there and have a beer and swing a club with my 15 handicap and see how I can do.
I'll be there.
Sounds great. Jared, thanks so much for joining me today on the Mod Golf YouTube channel.
Thanks, Colin.